Hey guys, I'm Tim with BleepinJeep. In today's video, I'm going to be trying out these new LED headlights and giving you my opinion of them, and we'll be comparing them to the conventional halogen style bulbs that most of us are running in our Cherokees. We have here a black unmarked box. I haven't opened this yet. Let's take a look. Looks like we got some literature. What is this, a sticker? Attention! If your car do not have light at all, or no high light or no low light, and your car is Toyota pickup, MR2, Celica, Supra, Tacoma, 240SX, you need to use our H4 wiring socket in package. To change pins position, try it for several times. Try it for several times. Or search YouTube. For instruction, or contact our seller to get instruction. If you headlight work normally, do not use extra wiring hardness. Do not use wiring hardness. Okay? Hopefully that's me. Let's take a look. Alright, well they definitely look cool. So there's no branding anywhere on these. I just bought these on Amazon. This is what they are. They look like that. And they have pretty good reviews. 5 stars, just about. Yeah, 4.5 stars. And they are sold by A-Fix. We'll put a link to them down below if you guys are interested. And they are $90, $45 a piece. Well, let's take a look at them and get our impressions of initial quality. All that kind of stuff. Get that out of the way. Well, they definitely look cool. And these are allegedly DOT approved, and they do say DOT SAE right on them. They're not glass, they are plastic. I was a little bit hesitant. I'm just going to leave that on there for now. It's just a sticky thing covering the plastic to protect it. I was a little bit hesitant to go with them because of the plastic. I really like having a glass light, but I started thinking about it, and my girlfriend pointed out that almost all modern cars are plastic. They have plastic lights. So I figured, what the heck, give them a shot. Now, allegedly on the Jeep Cherokee, these will be plug and play. We're just going to plug it right in. We're not going to have to do any adapting or anything like that. So I'm just checking this thing over, looking at it, trying to give you guys a initial quality impression. And first things first is they definitely look cool. They go like this in the vehicle, so they're definitely going to modernize it or make it look crazy or something. This connector, I don't know about that. That seems kind of jankety, but that's all stuff that I can tighten up and make better. I'll probably put some dielectric grease on here when I plug it in, just to make sure that it has a good connection. It has lots of fins on the back for cooling, heatsink fins. I can't bend them with my finger. They seem pretty good. And metal, it's aluminum construction on the back. They look pretty good, actually, in all honesty. The headlights that I have in the Jeep right now are your stock style. These are Sylvania halogen lights, just your run-of-the-mill $10 lights. I've used the Silver Stars in the past, and they may have been a hair brighter, but really nothing noticeable. So this is what you're going to find in most 5x7 inch headlight configurations. Most Jeep Cherokees will have the same light, same amount of output. Hopefully these LEDs are a lot brighter. So at this point, all there is to do is wait for it to get dark outside. That's what I'm doing right now. Before I put these in, I'm going to set up my DSLR camera, this one, on a tripod in the Jeep, and that way I can use manual exposure settings on the camera. And we'll do a test drive with this mounted on a tripod in the Jeep, looking out of the windshield on a manual exposure setting, exposed for the lights that are in there now. And then I'll come back from that drive after I show you guys that. We'll swap in the new headlights real quick, go back out and repeat the exact same thing, leaving the camera on the same exposure. And that way nothing will have changed at all between exposures, and we'll get a really accurate representation of how much brighter, if they're brighter, these LEDs are than the lights that are in there now. Alright guys, it is dark now. Just turned the camera on. It's on a tripod, kind of looking over my shoulder. And some traffic just went by. My low beams are on. So these are my low beams. These are my high beams. And we're on a dark country road. Speed limit out here is 55 miles an hour. 2-lane, not really a highway, but just a 2-lane country road. So this is low beam. We're on 45 miles an hour. High beam. And they're okay. You know, I feel like I can see all right. We're going to turn onto a 30 mile an hour side street here. I feel like I can see okay with the high beams on, looking straight down the road. The side coverage, you know, I can't say it's bad. It's just it's normal. You know, it's just like your typical 1980 headlight coverage, and that's about all I can say about this. And I've definitely gotten used to it. So when there's a deer on the right, we were able to spot that with the high beams on. And I was just going to start saying though, we actually hit a deer just a few days ago in this vehicle. Erin's with me. You can't see her, but she's with me on the right.
Hi.
And she was driving, going 55 or 60 miles an hour. It's a 55 zone. Rabbit just ran across the road up there. And she had the low beams on because a car was oncoming. She was in 5th gear, and this deer just shot out from my side. I was on the passenger side. By the time I saw it, its head was basically at the driver's side headlight, and we just nailed it square on, going 55 or 60 miles an hour. And you know, it's hard to say that if we had a brighter light, if we would have been able to avoid it, because it just shot out perpendicular to the road, and I didn't see it at all. And obviously Erin didn't see it at all either until it was right in front of us. So if we had a brighter light, I don't know that we would have seen it. So what I'm hoping for with these new LEDs that we put in is a little better side coverage, as well as further projection down the road. Alright, so this is just a real simple loop that we can easily repeat with the 2 different headlights in. And I'm going to throw in the LEDs, and we're going to make this same loop. Hopefully it's a lot brighter, and hopefully we do get some traffic like we have now. So what I'm hoping for is that I have really good light coverage, far better than what I have now. But I don't want to be blinding other drivers, so hopefully other cars aren't flashing me when I have the low beams and the LEDs on. We'll see what happens. Now, one thing I really like about these lights, as long as they work, is that you don't have to change your harness, you don't have to do anything at all. It's supposed to be 100% plug and play. And if that's the case, that's going to be pretty sweet. Alright, so pull that little retaining ring out of the way, and the headlight will come right out, which will give us access to the harness. Wiggle that right off of there, and the new light should just plug right in, reinstall the same way as disassembly. So one thing I noticed here right off the bat is on the stock headlight, these 3 prongs are part of the actual housing back here. On this, there's a big old cable, and there's a big old cable here too, so there's going to be a bunch of extra wires in here, but I guess that's fine. We'll just shove them back wherever they fit. Moment of truth. See if it plugs in. Yeah, plugged right in, nice and tight. Felt good. I said I was going to use some dielectric grease earlier, but it turns out I don't have any, so not a big deal if I want to put some on later. Oh man, those look sleek. Check that out. Okay, all that fit perfectly fine. All the screws went right back in. Put this bezel back into place here. Now, one thing I can point out is there's already dust all over this, and I'm afraid to wipe it because it's plastic. I feel like I'm going to scratch it, but maybe that's just me. Oh yeah, interesting. Look at that. Weird. It's weird looking. All right, other side. Boom! Done. Okay, moment of truth. I'm going to pull the switch. Dang, look at that. They turned on. See if the high beams come on. How about that? They work. High beams and low beams. Alright, test drive. Alright guys, put the LEDs in. We were sitting on the side of the road where I started the test drive of the conventional lights. Low beams are on. You guys ready for this? Boom, there's low beams. I don't know how it's looking on camera, but it's definitely brighter and it's weird at the same time. So we're gonna pull out onto the road and just make that same loop that we did with the conventional lights. This low beam, here's high beam. They have a tremendous amount of side coverage, but I don't know if you can see on camera, but there's a very distinct cutoff where basically to my I'd say my 2 o'clock position, after 2 o'clock there's no light at all, it's just black. They cut off, hard cut. So that's kind of weird. But they do really project out to the sides quite well. Nobody has flashed me yet with low beam on. Let's see what this guy does. Oh, I missed my turn. Got these new lights and I can't see where I'm going. Alright, we're going to do the same loop but backwards. I'm just going to go a little further here. So high beams are on, we're going 50 miles an hour. Here comes the car. I'm going to kick the low beam. Here's low beam. High beam. Here's my turn. So far these things were just plug and play. Literally plugged them right in, pulled the switch and they came on, so that's pretty cool. Coming up on this hill a little bit here, go high beam. So there's a very distinct projection band, I'm going to call it, where there's a concentration of light about 50 feet out from the vehicle in the road. So it's not a very smooth graduation or gradient of light from the front of the vehicle. It's just boom, spotlight, and then it has good spotlight projections out to the side. I really can see into this orchard well. It's almost like having alley lights on a police car. It's pretty interesting.
Weird shadow line over on that side.
Yeah, Aaron's picking up a weird shadow line.
There's like banding in the light, and there's also kind of distracting dark spots. That, look, on the side.
It's not super bad, but I see what she's saying. If you look at the trees, which you guys can't see, that are going by, there's a whole bunch of vertical banding, kind of like a barcode, but it's not that dramatic. I'm just trying to explain it. Whoa, deer on the right. Hypersensitive to the deer. Did you guys see that? I saw it. See, these headlights saved our lives. If I had the conventional headlights, I wouldn't have hit it. Or, I mean, I would have hit it. Anyway, I think what we can take away from this is you can still hit animals. Oh, there's an owl that's went up into that tree.
It's got great vertical.
Yeah.
If you want to go bird watching.
Yeah,
it's a barn owl.
Yeah, check that out. Yeah, you go nighttime bird watching with these. Now, one thing to point out with the high beams, when they project up like that, if you live in an area where it snows or where there's a lot of fog, that can be really bad because the light projects up into all that oncoming snow and it makes it so bright. It's really hard on the eyes. Typically, that's why they suggest driving with low beams in snow and fog. And because of this harsh cutoff line that you probably saw right there on the road, right there, it's another car. Yeah, they're blind. Oops. They're DOT approved, what can I tell you? Anyway, low beam with that harsh cutoff line, I think that's going to be really good for winter driving conditions, but on the high beam, there's no way you're going to be able to see in a blizzard with these lights. They're just far too bright.
Go back to, yeah, do you guys see that really bright band? I almost feel like sometimes if we're going downhill at all, we actually can't see as far as we could with the conventional lights.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm going to run them. I just paid $90 for these lights, and I'll just run them for a while. I'm not going to throw away the old ones necessarily. I like them. I like them pretty good, but they really don't project as far forward as I was hoping. And I'm definitely not going to angle these things up any higher because then I'm just going to blind everybody. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something, and if you did, please be sure to thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. This was a fun video for me because I have needed to upgrade my lights for a long time. Well, I guess for about the 12 years that I've owned Cherokees, the lights have always sucked. And these definitely put out a lot more light, and at the same time, I'm kind of 50-50 on them. I was expecting them to have a little bit better forward projection in the low beam, but I also understand that they have that harsh cutoff so you're not blinding drivers. I'd be really interested in hearing from you guys, and if you have any LED light recommendations that you've used in your Jeeps or any other vehicle like this, leave a comment below. I'd like to check them out, and I'm going to keep these for a while, but I might try something different too. So I'd like to know what you guys like. All right, see you in the next video.